Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. No guest, but nice to see everybody. It's my first speech. I've got to say that I was resistant to standing up here, pushed forward by several people here last week and the week before, but I'm here and I've been told you've got to get it over with. So here I am. And I struggled for a long time trying to decide what to focus on. It's an icebreaker. You're supposed to talk about your own life, aspects of your life, to get to know the audience to get to know you. So I decided to talk about various aspects of my childhood and college days and life after that. So again, my name is Philip Brooke. It's a very English name. We think we came from Russia. In fact, half of us did. And the name was probably changed at some point, we don't know what from. But having looked around a little bit, done some research, it seems Brooke is a Russian name, so go figure. So Leeds is a northern town, about 200 miles north of London. And for Americans among us who may say, where are you from in London? No, Leeds is not a city or a suburb of London, it's a separate city. I always get frustrated when I meet Americans, where are you from in New York? To the Chicago person or the Canadian, God forbid. But Leeds is actually a separate city of about 500,000 people, a sizable Jewish community at one time of about 20,000 people, now down to about 6,000 depending on how you count. I attended a Jewish school until about age 10, and then took an exam to attend what's called a grammar school. Grammar school is a private school, sometimes called public school, but a fee-paying school where you have to take an examination to attend. I was a minority in the school being Jewish because it was what's called a Church of England school, where there's a church on campus, but a large number of Jewish kids were there. But coming from a Jewish school environment, going straight into this huge non-Jewish school was kind of scary. And I was in fact the only Jewish kid in a class of 32, which was downright scary. And we had a priest teach us religious studies, and my father put the fear of God into me, literally, to say, you're not learning any of their Bible. So I would sit cowering at the back of the class, afraid of my dad, what he would think if I ever studied what they were studying, but also afraid of this really anti-Semitic reverend who referred to the Jews as you Jews at times. It was quite a scary experience. So a few little known facts about Leeds. Leeds is in a county called Yorkshire, or Yorkshire to Americans. And 5 things that you didn't know about Leeds. I didn't know these either. Number 1, it was the site of the first flight. Actually happened in Leeds. 50 years before the Wright brothers, a Yorkshire man by the name of George Cayley flew a hang glider. That was in 1853.
No.
It's true. The site of the first moving picture or movie by Louis Le Prince, apparently he was English, produced a movie called Traffic Crossing Leeds Bridge. Number 3, who here knows what rhubarb is? Okay, just checking. Leeds was the producer of 90% of the world's rhubarb in the 1800s. Yes. Number 4, Britain's tallest man, William the Yorkshire Giant Bradley, born in 1787, reached the height of 7 feet 9 inches and lived in Yorkshire. And the world's oldest football club, Sheffield Football Club, was founded in 1857. Now this puts everything in perspective because this high school, which my brother and I attended, was actually founded in 1557. Go figure. England. It's an old place. I'll break here for a moment and tell a short joke. Because we're here to learn about communication and to learn about speaking. Joking is a big part of that. A man walks into a bar with a giraffe. Giraffe goes to sleep on the floor. Barman says, "Oi, what's that line there?" Man says, "It's not a line, it's a giraffe." At the age of 10, I'm going to finish up soon, the age of 10, my father became religious. We grew up traditional. And that was when we discovered sellotape. Because my dad used to love sticking down lights everywhere. Every Friday, it was a tradition to stick every single light switch to make sure that we didn't turn on a light by accident. It was a life-changing event, and it went on to shape the rest of my life, which I have to thank him for becoming religious. Many years later, after finishing high school, I attended yeshiva in Israel for 2 years, and it's then that I rediscovered a fear of mine, which became a passion. A young fear of mine was actually seeing disabled people, or handicapped people, as I used to refer to them. I used to actually run away crying as a child whenever I saw on television or in life someone who had a disability. It was so upsetting to me. I overcame that fear, and this is one of the things I'm very proud of. I actually did Camp HASC, which was a camp in New York for special needs kids for 2 summers, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had. Later on, I actually moved to New York, and then later on to Boston, where I spent probably a third of my life. And that's where my title comes in. Yes, I don't drink tea at 4 o'clock like every Englishman, of course, does, but I do love Earl Grey tea. Thank you, everybody.